welcome to Take Root. Well, today I'm going to give you an update on a video that we produced last year on propagating azalea cuttings. As you can see, these are my 1-year-old babies. I took 13 softwood cuttings in the month of July last year, and all 13 cuttings rooted. That's a 100% success rate. Now, because this is an important method of propagating our favorite plants, I thought it's important to revisit those steps again today. Isn't this the most glorious white azalea you've ever seen? I bought this azalea about 15 years ago on the parking lot of my local Walmart store here in Bentonville. And it has been a showstopper ever since, and a survivor. It's made it through countless droughts over the last 15 years, and even a minus 10-degree winter last year. Now, I would love to have more of this beautiful azalea, but I don't know what variety it is because it was just listed as an assorted azalea when I bought it. So the only way to make more of these is to propagate it. And that's what we're going to do today from cuttings. Azalea cuttings can be taken any time from June onward, depending on the weather and the variety of azalea. Start by taking several cuttings from the new growth that come from the ends of the existing wood. They should be somewhere between a softwood and hardwood cutting. The most commonly used rooting medium is 50-50 peat moss and perlite. For this video, I am using sterilized potting soil and a little peat moss. The goal is to provide both moisture and oxygen for the new cuttings. Be sure and water the potting mix several times before you add the cuttings. Each cutting should be about 3 to 4 inches long, preferably taken in the morning from a well-watered plant. Cut off all but the top cluster of leaves, or carefully strip off the leaves without damaging the tender bark. If the terminal leaves are large like those on a hydrangea, then consider cutting them in half. When you are ready to plant the cuttings, wound the bottom ½ inch or so of each branch by scraping off the bark with a knife. Dip the end of the cutting into a rooting powder or liquid. Tap off the excess powder before placing them in the potting mix. I usually plant 10 to 20 cuttings in a 6-inch flower pot, so the leaves are barely touching. Straighten 2 coat hangers and bend them into U shapes. Stick the ends of the wire into the peat moss on each side of the pot so the 2 U's cross at the top. Place the pot, cuttings, and wire supports in a large plastic bag. Tie the plastic bag above the wire supports. Put the cuttings in a shaded area that gets bright light but not direct sunlight. Leave the plastic bag on the cuttings until you are sure that the cuttings have formed a good root system. No watering will be necessary during this time. After 3 or 4 weeks, untie the plastic bag and gently pull up on one of the cuttings. If it slips out easily, the cuttings have not rooted and you need to reseal the plastic bag. After the cuttings rooted, I transplanted them to 4-inch pots, and they spent the winter outside on my patio under a clear plastic tote, which I use as a mini greenhouse. This year I plan to propagate my favorite butterfly bushes, Weigelia, slender deutzia, and my evergreen boxwood. So as you can see, propagating softwood cuttings is really easy. You just have to remember to do it during this time of the year. For the Benton County Master Gardeners, this is Beth Strickland and Take Root.